Hi, this is Seth with Liberty News. Who is Jesus of Nazareth? That's our story tonight. The man which was once the most well-known person and figure in the history of the world is now nearly a forgotten figure by most young people of the world. He made his mark nearly 2,000 years ago, being born of a virgin in Bethlehem, just outside of Jerusalem in Israel, at the height of the Roman Empire. Little is known about him before his 30th birthday, but we do know in his 30th year on earth is when he began his ministry. During the next 3 years of his ministry, he healed the sick, gave sight to the blind, cast out demons. He fed 5,000 men, not counting women and children, with just a couple loaves of bread and a few small fish. He calmed the raging storms around him. He healed the paralytic man, raised children and a man named Lazarus from the dead. Lepers were made clean. He made the mute talk, restored cut off ears, and various other miracles, too many to mention. John 21 verse 25 says, Jesus did many other things as well. If every one of them were written down, I suppose that even the whole world would not have enough room for the books that would have been written about him. Jesus was the coming Messiah as foretold by the Old Testament prophets. There are over 456 Old Testament prophecies referring to the Messiah. Jesus fulfilled at least 300 prophecies in his time here on earth. Peter W. Stoner, a mathematics and astronomy professor, said this: one man fulfilling just 8 of the 300 prophecies that Jesus did fulfill by sheer chance is 1 in 10 to the 17th power. That would be equivalent to covering the whole state of Texas with silver dollars 2 feet deep, then expecting a blindfolded man to walk across the state and on the very first try to find one coin that you marked with an X. And this man, Jesus of Nazareth, fulfilled 300 of the 456 Old Testament prophecies. This man, who never traveled more than 200 miles from the place of his birth, affected more lives on planet Earth than any other man or woman that has ever been born. In his 33rd year on earth, the tide of public opinion shifted. He was abandoned by his friends. He was denied by his closest ally. He was turned over to his enemies and went through an embarrassing trial. After a brutal scourging, he was found innocent of all charges by the Roman prefect and then was sentenced to death on a cross. Built for thieves, murderers, and rapists. This innocent man died a gruesome death and with his last breath cried out, "It is finished." On that day he was laid in a borrowed grave and the tomb was sealed by Roman guards. But this was not the end of this man. It was just the beginning of him changing the world. On the 3rd day from his death, he rose from the dead and was given the keys to death, hell, and the grave. This man's death, resurrection, and sacrifice was the price that was needed to reconcile mankind back to God. For the first time since the Garden of Eden, mankind was able to have relationship with God. His followers and disciples have since carried his message to the furthest ends of the earth, baptizing and making disciples of all who would accept his teachings and story. He is the first and the last, the Alpha and the Omega, the only means by which anyone can be saved and rescued from the sin that is enslaving them and sentencing them to eternal death. He is Jesus of Nazareth. Do you know him?